afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your attendance and your punctuality as well. Today, we're going to work on unit number 9. We're going to start working on unit number 9 in your English ID. Lesson 1 to be precise. And just let me tell you that this unit is about crime. So we're going to be talking about crime. Unfortunately, we're not strangers to this topic since we live in a very violent place. It's not that just El Salvador is a violent and criminal place. We know that this is an issue that affects worldwide, but you see, we live in this country and we gotta face reality here, and we don't care much about other places, but the situation here in El Salvador is so difficult. And I'm gonna share with you a video that I shot last year. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. We're just watching the social emotional content, which has to do with motivation and some previous vocabulary. I'm gonna show you a short list of different criminal activities and the name of them and the difference between especially thief, because you know that stealing is a crime, but it got different categories and they also got different names. You see, in El Salvador, or at least in Spanish, we choose a few words for stealing. And when you take other people's possession without authority or permission, so you take them away from them. So this is a stealing. And they got different names according to the circumstances where where the action is performed. So pay attention to those things in the clip, please. Welcome once again to English Lessons with JC. Today, many things will be taught, but the most important one is the reflection about the push that makes you move, the one that makes you do things. Yeah, we're talking about motivation. We're gonna watch a video about it, so pay attention to it. Let's begin.
You got the little voices in your head.
And you know what they're saying? They're saying it's okay. You've done enough. Take a little rest. That's fine.
You can take the day off. You don't need to go hard.
That's what those little voices are saying.
But you got another voice in your head that's asking you a question. It's asking you, what could you be? What could you be? What could you be if you worked as hard as you could? What could you be if you imposed real discipline in your life? What could you be? I said you crank up the volume on that voice. Crank up the volume on that question. Max it out. So easy to put things off. So easy to say, you're gonna do it tomorrow. Well, I want you to reprogram your brain and tell yourself that tomorrow is not a viable option. Tomorrow doesn't work. You do it today. You get it done today. That's what you do. Too tired, too hungry, too sore, too hot, too cold, too whatever.
Stop rationalizing. Stop making excuses. Stop telling yourself little watered down assessments of where you're really at. Tell yourself the truth.
Are you making yourself better? Or are you making yourself worse? Are you moving forward or are you moving back? Are you making progress or are you stagnating? Make the decision, yes or no. Are you going to work out today? Yes or no. Are you going to win? Yes or no. Don't allow for any gray area in there. Get rid of the debate. And you know the right decision to make. So go and make it.
Hard work works, and you know what's great about our culture, y'all? The world's lazy. It's a good thing for you and me. Everybody will talk about it, everybody will post about it, but nobody wants to roll up their sleeves and just go get it. And so what that means for me, I don't have to be the most qualified. I don't have to be the most talented. All I got to begin to do is to apply myself, and by default, I'm going to separate myself from the crowd.
If you set out and you say you're going to do something, do yourself a favor and don't lie to yourself. Because that is the worst thing that an individual can ever do. You think you lying to your peers. You think you lying to your teacher. You think you lying to your coach. At the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, you lying to you. Because that's your life. You make your bed, you gotta lay in it.
You aren't getting any closer to your 5-year plan or your 3-year plan or your 7-year plan or any plan that you've got unless you get up and start getting after it today.
Well, since this video was shot by a very important sport equipment company, all the things you could see were related to sports, but that doesn't mean that motivation has to do with the sports. So you know that is not what happens. So motivation is the force, the push that make you move, that make you do the things to perform certain actions. I just want to remark a couple of points that really caught my attention from this video. That's why I chose it last year for the class. And it is that they say that the word is lazy. So out there, people are waiting for people who perform the things for themselves, for them, not for themselves, but for them, because they want people who give solutions. They want people who perform the jobs, who create things. And while the rest are laying on the couch or they're just playing fire out there, so you're getting ready to perform an excellent job, whatever you work, whatever your decision is gonna make, because you are about to make one important decision, just in case that you haven't done it yet, because you're gonna pick a career next year. And that's gonna define who you really are in society. Right now, you're students, and I have told you many times that your role in the society is as a student, and you gotta reflect. Sorry, you have to reflect on the way that you're performing your role in this society. What kind of a student you are is the kind of person that you're gonna be in the future. Next year, you're gonna be in the university, and some of you have made a clear decision. Some of you are still hesitant because you don't know what to study, because you can see that out there, outside, it doesn't matter if you study or not. You succeed if you have connections, if you got white collar, and that is very sad. Another thing that I want to remark from this clip is that it says that you probably are procrastinating too much. And I know it is the case, especially due to this online system of classes. You see, it's not the fault of the minute seat. Obviously, it's not your fault. It's nobody else's fault. But some of you have taken too easy. So you have taken the situation too easy, and you have decided to procrastinate more than to get an effort. And probably you might be wondering if it's worth it. Well, just let me tell you that it is. It is worth it, because out there are a lot of people who can perform a good job, but you can, so you're capable of doing that. So that makes you an important asset in society. You are an important asset in the company or in the university or whenever you are. And so you're not lying to anybody but yourself. I mean, you can tell your parents that you are online all day long and you pay attention to your teachers, you take note, you solve the exercises, You do your homework, which by the way, you have only 2 assignments in English and some of you haven't even done that. And you're lying to yourself. I mean, uh, not to me, because I know better, not to your parents, because they know better. At the end is you, your performance, what you know, how well prepared you're gonna go to college next year. And depending where you go, depending on the university that you applied for and the career that you want to study, you have to find your motivation there. So try to choose a career that makes you feel good with yourself and that you think that you're good at it. Because sometimes you like it. I like this career because it gives me good benefits. I can uh, get a good salary, but salary is not it. It's not it. So you have to remember that this is what you're gonna be your whole life. And you have to look for something that you're good at it. If you're not good at something, but you like it, so try to think twice and consider the possibilities you have, because you're gonna do well in the area or in the field where you feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfy, you will suffer a lot. So my advice for you is try to find something that you are good at it and try to perfect your skills on that particular area. So you will be one of the best in that field and you may succeed everywhere you go and you will feel satisfied with yourself and you will find the motivation to go on and continue doing your job, whatever this one is going to be. And think of your career. If you need, well, this is very difficult that your parents deliver this, that they give you a year off or a gap year. I know there are many people against gap years, but if you need time to think, time to reflect, to explore the world, to explore your possibilities, it is recommended to get a gap year. But this is something that uh, many people don't agree with, especially parents, that they think that it's a waste of time. But you are very young, and I don't think that is a waste of time. But those are family decisions that we have to respect. So now we're gonna move to the vocabulary for the lesson is in this clip. As you plan to see, this clip lasts just 33 minutes with 30, well, no, more than 33 minutes, but 33 minutes are remaining. But we're not gonna watch the whole thing, only the vocabulary part. So let's take a look. For today's class, we are using our books, English ID 3B, pages 94 and 95. Let's begin. Before to go over the lesson, I want to share a previous vocabulary with you related to crimes, because this is what the unit is going to be about. If you are worried about a crime and how dangerous or safe our neighborhoods are. We have the first type of crime, which is pickpocketing. It is the act of stealing things out of the people pockets or bags secretly. So you don't know, you don't feel when someone gets something out of your shoe is when someone takes something without paying for it. Mugging is an act of attacking someone and stealing their money. Burglary is the crime of stealing from a building or house. Is to break in a house. Arson is starting a fire in order to damage or destroy something. And you have another type of stealing, which is bank robbery. Well, so as you can see, all these crimes, or at least most of them, 5 out of 6 crimes here are related to stealing or theft. So, but they got differences. So when you got mugged, so someone take your possessions away from you, but there's also certain sort of attack, you know. Someone may point a gun at you, someone may assault you. Assault you is not asaltar, is to beat someone, to get a punch, you see, to get kicked. Assault, you may be assaulted at the same time as you have been mugged. And burglary is when you steal people's possessions, but from breaking in. You break in a building, you break in a house, or anything. But the thing is that a burglar is someone who steals things from houses and buildings. And robbery is also like burglary. Robbery is when you go and steal people's possessions in buildings as well, but people are there, like in banks. It's a bank robbery. And obviously, it's in a particular place, right? A bank. Pickpocketing, well, you can also have backpack, right? Backpacking, maybe that will be the name, because people get things from out of your backpack. That was very common in the school. Well, where I used to study in my high school, so my classmates stole things from my backpack, um, pencils, you see, things like that. But it really upset me. All right, let's continue. The name suggests what the action is the crime of stealing money from a bank. Then we have murder, which is to kill somebody. We have already discussed shoplifting. Assault, if you attack someone physically. We have also discussed about arson, robbery, burglary, hijacking. Well, this is when you illegally take control over a vehicle, an airplane or ship while in transit. Is what happened in the 9/11 incident in the United States. And the smuggling is when you illegally take people or goods into or out of a country. And we complete the list of crimes with this. So in lesson one, we're gonna find an exercise that has to do with rate crimes from the most serious to the least serious ones. So I think that all of the crimes are serious since you are violating people's rights. But there are some crimes that are not so serious, like piracy. You see, people get affected by those, but it's not like if you kill someone, right? It's not, definitely it's not the same. So we're gonna listen to the description of every crime here in the list, and you will try to rate them from the most serious to the least serious, at least a top three. Yeah, your top three. Number one will be the most serious crime for you, and number three, the least serious for you. Sometimes, like Aerosmith better say, is that sometimes the punishment don't fit the crime, especially in El Salvador with our so-called justice system. Definitely the punishment doesn't fit the crime, because there are a lot of criminals out there and they don't spend time in jail. And there are some people who has, we see, committed certain missteps in life, and they are there in jail, spending some time in jail. And you see, very difficult situation that we have here. But listen, drug dealing. Well, you know that most of the common drugs are illegal, and depending on the country's regulations, you can go to jail for a long time. Drunk driving is when you got wasted and you decided to drive anyway, and you put in risk your life and other people's lives. White collar crime, well, this one doesn't require violence, but you take advantage of your privileged position, especially in the government, right, to commit your crimes such as stealing or murder, or depending on the circumstances. Kidnapping is when you abduct people, obviously without their permission, against their will. Blackmailing is when you find out secret, compromising information about someone and you ask for money in order to remain silent. Tax evasion is when you intentionally avoid compulsory incomes to the government, or you don't pay your business profits to the IRS in the United States, or in El Salvador, Ministerio de Hacienda. Piracy is when you reproduce an unauthorized product and you make copies of that. This is very similar to forgery because you reproduce fraudulent copies or imitations, so those are related each other. Gangs, well, you know that they are groups, criminal groups, that they identify themselves with particular names, and they try to control territory in order to extortion people. That means to ask them by force money. So I'm gonna give you my top three. The most serious one is white collar crime. Is since this one doesn't, well, it says that it doesn't include or it doesn't involve violence, but this crime is related to all of them. From your position of power, you steal, you may kidnap, definitely you evade paying taxes. Believe it or not, some governments uh, currently and in the past, they have some agreements with gangs. So that's why the problem will never disappear. Sometimes they work together, hand by hand. So they like to deny it. Uh, Politicians definitely deny the connection they have with gangs, with gangsters, with gang members. They deny it, but we know that sometimes they do their daily job. Because we live in a very small country, we live in a very small place where people know each other very well. And the police know who they are, where they live, but they don't do anything to stop them. And it's because they have some connections with people out here. You see, people with white collar, that's the way they call them. And then we move to, according to my scale of values, um, which one? Gangs. This one is worse, then gangs, and the least serious for me is piracy. Music piracy, to be precise. Okay, now let me listen to your opinions. What is your top three according to your scale of values? Let me see, Camila Yaretsi, are you there?
Hi, teacher.
Hello, Cami. Tell me, Yaretsi, in your opinion, what is the most serious crime here and why?
In my opinion, I think drunk driving is a really, excuse me.
Yeah, you're totally right. And it's very common. I mean, you
But
don't need a gun and it's dangerous, right?
I mean, it's dangerous because you can kill people, innocent people, and it's your fault. I mean, you are not with conscience And what you do, and yeah, you can kill innocent people.
Yeah, that's the worst part of drunk driving is that many innocent people get involved sometimes. So if you kill yourself, if you are responsible enough to take the hit and decide to drive under the effects of alcohol, it's okay. Go out and kill yourself. But the problem is that sometimes you have an accident with people who were not drunk, who weren't with you, and they pay the consequences. Innocent people, like you pointed out. Thank you very much. Jessica Santos, I know I can always trust in you.
Always. I'm here.
Yay. Okay, what is the worst crime
Um,
for you?
I think drunk driving
Uh-huh.
and gangs.
Yeah, gangs.
Yes, is the
Definitely.
most, I think.
Do you live in a complicated area or not, Jesse?
And I, yes, I think.
So if I want
Well,
to visit you, I have to identify
no,
myself.
no. I
No.
think, and there is no, but when I lived in the another place in the
Uh-huh.
past, and this place they are very dangerous.
I see. So good for
Yes,
you. Good for you that you don't live in that place anymore.
yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Naomi Mendoza.
Hi.
Hello. Uh, what about you? What do you think? Which one is the worst?
The worst,
Yeah.
or three. The worst. I think, like you said, I'm between the kidnapping and the drunk driving.
Okay.
Yeah, between those.
Okay, I see. And another question, Naomi, for you.
Ah,
Have you
yes.
ever been victimized by delinquency in El Salvador?
Yes. Where do you
Really?
think I live?
Wow, what a surprise. I didn't know. I have asked this question to the other groups and they said no. Fortunately, no, or not yet.
I mean, not that bad, but I have been. I was with my mom once, and a guy stole from us. So yeah, yeah,
Wow.
with a knife, the little knife. What is it called?
Yeah, with a knife. So
Yeah.
that, what is the name of the crime when it involves violence is burglary. No, burglary is when you breaking into
Sorry,
a building.
actually.
It is, wait a second, I got it here. Mugging. You got mugged with your mom.
Yeah. Actually, it was like, I think it was the last time, but now that I have like my own cell phone and stuff, like I'm more scared about to lose my cell phone than to lose anything else.
And next year, are you gonna get a car to go to university?
I hope so. I can drive. I can't.
Oh, you can. That's good.
I need a chauffeur.
That's, oh, I see. I see. That sucks. So
Yes.
then your mom or your dad has to take you to your study place and then pick you up
It's funny.
traveling. Uh-huh.
My cousin last year, he's in the university, and at the beginning he was taking the bus, right? So
Uh-huh.
and he got stole his cell phone, his watch, I think, and like the next month, my uncles buy him a car, and I was like, I want.
Wow. So that's good. The public transportation is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. I got
Yes.
mugged
Don't
as
use
well.
Uber.
And Uber is also, well, dangerous. I mean, well,
Yeah. But not that dangerous, but
not that
it has a
dangerous.
little
Uh-huh.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Not that dangerous like you said, but you see, you can trust in an unknown person. You can even trust to a stranger. So this is a very wise advice that parents give you. Don't trust in strangers. Never trust in strangers. Um, So let me see, I have something in the chat. My dear Daniel says, okay, no problem, Danielito. Okay, so another victim of criminal activity here. I got mugged many times when I travel by bus, when I used to travel by bus. I lost many things, especially watches. Because those years, you see, cell phones were not so popular. A few people got cell phones about those years when I used to travel by bus. They were not popular at all. Okay, so let me see. We're gonna move to the book lesson. Give me one sec. Say this, page 94. Page 94 in your books. So there we have it. Does crime often worry you? How worried are you about crime? Do you think that this situation is gonna improve? Is gonna change once and for all? So I've heard that they're gonna invest $200 million, $200 million in Plan Control Territorial. And I just was wondering where that money go. $20 million for that plan. I mean, is it working? Is it actually working? Because they are asking for a loan to the international bank, and I got really shocked when I read that. So I don't get to make a stand here against the government because it's not my purpose. But guys, do you think that those plans are working? I mean, all that money, all those $1 million that they invest in the police and investigation and all that, do you think is it paying off? I don't know, anybody wants to give an opinion about that? Maybe my dear Gabriel Sanchez, Arturo. I know you like to talk about these topics also, Jose David Serpas, but I don't know if you're listening, guys.
I don't think the government use
Efficiently.
the money, because in the definition of the state, it's impossible que gaste eficientemente,
That uses the money efficiently or the stops.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Milton Friedman says four cuatro formas de gastar el dinero.
Or ways to spend money.
Yes. In the person, the money the person in the person, the money the person in others, the others in person, and the others in the others. This is the government use. The other money in other people.
So I like the way that you say the things, because you always quote an author, and that gives you a base. You see that you're not talking from your opinion only, but somebody else's opinion. I like the way you make yourself clear in these points.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What about you, Serpas? Are you there? We're not having a debate today, but I just want to hear your posture here. David, are you there? Well, maybe not. Okay, in my opinion and in Arturo's opinion, the money is not being used effectively and efficiently. We can see it. No matter what the propaganda says, we live it every single day. We feel it in our bones because we are out there in the streets living reality, not the reality that we listen or watch from the media, right? So then we have this exercise here. We have 6 different texts. The texts are describing some crimes in different places. You have to match them with the type of text it is. If it's a tweet, if it's a forum, a newspaper article, whatever. And then when you have matched, you have also some words in bold: bribery, murder, burglaries, drug dealing, etc. You're gonna match those words with the pictures. And we have seen a clip about it, and you can look them up on the internet just in case that you have doubts in some. Listen as you read, please.
Audio 9.1. 1.
I spent 4 days in Sao Paulo. Lots of locals told me to be extra careful. I was, and it was cool. I heard a few horrific crime stories, from credit card fraud to kidnapping. Maybe they're exaggerating. Anyway, enjoy your stay there.
2.
Organized crime in Chicago has seen its biggest annual rise in a decade. Statistics released yesterday showed a 17% increase in burglaries, taking the rates back to 2012 levels. Houses in the affluent neighborhood of Pill Hills were the most affected.
3.
Violent murder of millionaire shocks Jacksonville. Ex-husband main suspect.
4.
Got stopped for speeding. Police officer didn't accept $100. Instead, reminded me bribery is a crime. Almost went to prison. Hashtag stupid.
5.
89-year-old boxing grandma sent to prison for domestic abuse and drug dealing.
6.
Okay, I think I can help you. Theft is when someone takes something from you without you knowing. So, for example, if you were walking down the street and I ran by and stole your purse, that would be theft. So, in a way, tax evasion and, say, music piracy are forms of theft too. Robbery is different. It usually involves violence or fear.
Okay, let's check the answers. Okay, the tweet was text number 4. The discussion in a forum is 6. The newspaper article is number 2. The forum for travelers is 1. The newspaper headline is 3. And the headline from a fake website is number 5. Then the pictures with the crimes: kidnapping, F; burglaries, E; murder, A; bribery, B. Okay, just in case that you don't remember, well, because this one was not in the video, right? Letter B, bribery, is when, well, for example, the police ask you to pull over and they ask you for your papers. So, and you don't have your driver license, well, right? You see, you pay some fee to the government and you offer money to the agent. And obviously the police agent is gonna refuse your money, right? Because they never got a prize, you know. And they can take you to prison because of bribery. So this is similar to something that is very common in the United States politics. Politics is politics in the United States politics. It's called quid pro quo. So I gave you something, but you have to give me something in return. It's very similar. You see, I gave you some money in return of a favor. I'm gonna give you 10 bucks, dear office, so you can fine me. Because sometimes in the States, the fines are very high. I mean, they have to pay hundreds of dollars for sometimes for a fender bender. Fender bender is a minor accident or something that happens in the traffic, you see. Okay. Then we also have drug dealing, that is letter D. Theft is letter C, a theft or smog. And robbery is letter G. Then you have to complete this vocabulary on the next page, page 95. Credit card fraud, domestic abuse, another very common crime here in El Salvador, domestic abuse, tax evasion, and music piracy. And once again, you have to choose the 3 most and least serious crimes and compare with others. But now let's think of the least serious, because previously we discussed of the most serious crimes, and you mentioned white collar crime, drug driving, etc. Now tell me, which one do you think is not that serious? So for example, my dear Franklin Elias, are you there?
Hello, teacher.
Hello, my dear Franklin. Tell me, which ones are the least serious crimes for you?
Of the list?
Or the ones that you can think of?
¿Cómo se dice? How do you say? Wait, the drug dealing?
Drug dealing, but drug dealing is serious. Well, for you, no. Not for you.
So much.
Not so much. And another that you consider not that serious? For me, one of the least serious is music piracy. Or a fender bender. Fender benders are those very small accidents that you have in the traffic, you see in the car. Little offenses, small offenses, a fender bender. Let me see who can help me out here. Alison Diana Jimenez.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. Tell me, do you have a criminal mind?
It depends.
It depends. No, you don't. Okay, tell me, for you, which ones are the least serious crimes?
Well, I agree with the music piracy. And I think that the tax evasion is not a crime, not that serious.
Okay. Okay. So you're gonna be an evader like next, well, no, when you have to pay taxes, when you start working, you have to pay your taxes. All right, thank you, my dear Diana. So then we have a listening exercise here, but we don't have time to do it because it takes longer, and we're gonna stop the class here. Thank you very much for listening and also for participating. See you next week.